Hey guys, welcome to the video. Going to do a quick little install of our Sirocco fan. We've already got one in the van. The plan is eventually to have 4, one for each bunk for the kids, 1 or 2 for our bed, and 1 in our dining room just up here. So we're probably going to install our fan just up here. It's going to cover a wide range of space. We might eventually chuck another one up here as well. We'll see how we go with this current one. The Sirocco fans are known to be pretty good for what they are. They're getting expensive, unfortunately. I think the last time I checked, so these are about 150 when I bought them. I've had this one sitting in the van for a little while, humming and hurrying sort of where to put it and trying to find a time to install it as well. I think the price wise have just gone up to around 200 or just over 200, I think, or maybe even 300. I could be wrong. But have a look, they are the best fans that you can get. Nothing else blows out that sort of air and uses that smaller amount of amp draw as well. So they're really good fans. Do some research. I'll put a link below to the Sirocco fans as well, the cheapest place that I can find to get them. As far as installing the fan, like I said, we're going to go underneath the drawers. We can hide the wiring up on top in here, and we can go through to this fridge cavity here. So I've got the fridge and it's got quite a spacious cavity on the back, so we can get that wiring through the wall quite nicely and then connect it into the power in the back, so we've got constant power to the fan and the fans can go on anytime. If you've got a shunt or a voltage reader or a voltage gauge, make sure that all your cables are going through that. So our fridge cables come through the shunt, so the shunt can measure it on the BM Pro system as well. We'll get into marking out where we're going to position it and we'll start drilling some holes. We'll quickly unbox the Sirocco fan just so you can see what you get in there if you don't already know. It all comes packed in foam. I've already had this out just to check all the pieces. This particular one did arrive without any screws or wiring, so I just had to contact the guys and let them know, and they were really good and sent another lot out to me. So the fan itself, you've got your positive and negative cables that go on here. You got your switches on the front, timer, fan speed. They're a really good fan. What makes them really good is obviously you can mount them in any orientation. You can mount them on the wall, you can mount them upside down, and then they've got a great range of movement as well. So that does a full 180 and then back the other way as well. And then not only that, but this head tilts, so the fan can tilt back, tilt forward, and then this little lever locks it up on here, so it's all locked up. And then the other thing, it does a 90-degree turn each way as well. So really, you've got a full range of movement for that fan in whatever orientation you want to have it. So that's the fan. We've got our wiring, our instructions. Instructions are quite good with these two. That's probably something to note. Our mounting plate, our double-sided tape, which is for the initial installation, also stops a bit of the vibrations coming through. Our nuts and bolts. So this is our couch, obviously. I've just got everything off the couch at the moment because we're looking at space for a diesel heater. I want to try and keep this away from anyone's heads. Just want to make sure that we've got clearance if we want to. It's a bit hard to do with one hand, but if we want to rotate that fan as well. So I'm going to find a spot in the corner where I can rotate that fan without it hitting anything, but it's also tucked away as much as possible. And then just up here, we're going to mark it out and drill a hole, and then we're going to come up in here and go along that back corner into the fridge cavity, which is right next to it. First step we're going to do for this mounting plate is just pop these little hex nuts into the spaces. They actually get sandwiched up against the mounting platform, so they will hold in place, and then the fan basically just slots up and clicks in, and then those screws go in to hold it in place. So we've got the hex nuts in place. Next step will be sticking the double-sided tape to the top of this faceplate. It's only a temporary mounting option just to hold it in place while you affix the actual mounting screws. So we'll go and do that. Give that some pressure. Okay, we're ready to fix that to the fan and find a good position for it. Quite easy to fix to the fan. It literally just slots in and then clicks back like that. The thing stopping the fan from falling off once that's clicked in and not sliding sideways is screws go through here and into those nuts and lock that into position. So that should be quite good. We'll get that on and find a position up on the roof. Positioning the fan, like I said before, I'm going to make sure that it's not going to foul out on anything, and we've got a good angle for cooling as well, so as close to the back as we can. What I'll do is get it approximately where I want with a little space, keep it off that wall. Looks good. Can clear and down a bit as well, so that's good. So now that that double-sided tape's on there, I can just slide the fan off to the side of the mount, and we're ready to put some screws and some holes through. Could use 4 or 6 screws. I'm going to chuck 6 in there just because we do a fair bit of off-road driving, so. It's all mounted up and we're clear on the top. Bit of dust in there. Before we drill the holes through, I'm just going to make sure we've got clearance still. Beautiful. Clearance, clearance. We can definitely still adjust that one there, or we can have it up out the way. Probably travel that down, obviously. Can aim the fan down, sideways. Now we'll just pop 2 holes through for the cables. Now attaching the wires, they are marked with positive and negative. I'm not sure if you can see that. We've got one cable that has a black strip, so we're going to make that negative. Some little lock washers. These little nuts are a size 7, so you'll need a 7mm socket to do them up properly. Now the last one I did, when these are fastened on, those metal bits actually get quite close to each other, so I'm going to try and just aim them down a little bit. I don't want to go too tight. There's one on and the second one going on, you can see. We'll just sit that. Cool, make sure they're far away from each other and not touching. We'll just hold that in place while we nip that up. Now, I did drill 2 holes because I was originally going to bring the cables down through each hole in the base plate, but there is a little cutout in the bottom here where we can double that over underneath. We can go down like this, and then we can come up one of those single holes. So I'm not sure if you can see that, but we're going to come up through the base plate in a single hole. So we'll head over to the base plate, making sure we've got the fan the right way. Obviously it's got a grill on the back and the badge on the front. We can come up through this hole. You can see just here the cable coming up. We'll tidy that little hole up and vacuum that up in a minute. Basically we're just going to feed that to the back corner along there and go through this wall into the fridge cavity. So you can see here it's all fitted up. The last step that we have to do, we just want to flick this forward so we can get to the back and pop the screws up in there just to lock the fan into the base plate position. And beautiful. I'll show you where I'm grabbing power from. So our cupboards obviously sit just on top of the window, so that line is here, and in here we'll find our hole. Okay, I can see our holes pop through there, so we'll be able to get the wiring through now. So cable's through now. We can tap that into some 12-volt power and we should be all good to go. So we're going to tap into our fridge power, which is a constant power, just so we can turn the fan on anytime we want, but you can use whatever's more convenient for you. We'll pop back around quickly. Just have a look at the finished product, all mounted. Beautiful, out of the way, nice and neat, and we've got a good range of motion as well. Cool guys, like I said, I'll put a link below for the fans, and I'll also put some information about the fan below as well, just in case you need to know. Obviously it's a bit of an investment, so it's a bit of money. It'd be nice to know that the fan does work well, like I'm saying it does, which it does, I promise you. One quick thing while I've got you as well, power wise, which is obviously on everyone's mind who's got a caravan on a 12-volt system. On low at 12-volt, it draws 0.12 amps, so bugger all. Medium is 0.22 amps. On high, it uses 0.3 even amps at 12 volts, so it uses next to nothing. It's a really, really good fan, so I can't recommend it enough. It'd be nice if it was a little bit more powerful, but with all the options we've got out there, this is definitely the best option to go in the van. All right, guys, give the video a like down below if you can. If you want to subscribe to us as well, that'd be great, and we'll see you in the next video. Cheers. Take me away.